Now to the state capitol, where Governor Gavin Newsom will not give a State of the State speech this year. KCRA 3's Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joins us live at the state capitol with what he will do. Ashley, why is he not giving a speech, and what will he do instead?
Well, Ty, the state constitution requires the governor to give this address or this update to the legislature, but the Constitution does not require him to give the speech that we've grown so accustomed to seeing, really, with governors in the state over the last 70 years, governors we see across the country, and even with the President of the United States, who obviously gives the State of the Union every year. But instead, this year, Governor Gavin Newsom is hitting the road. So he's going to tour the state starting in Northern California and ending in Southern California from March 16th through the 19th. There, his office says he's going to make a series of policy announcements on topics including housing, affordability, and mental health. Once that tour is over and the announcements have been made, the governor is expected to summarize that in a letter to the legislature, which will fulfill that constitutional requirement that he has.
Interesting. So the State of the State is specifically an engagement between the legislature and Governor Newsom. How are state lawmakers reacting now that he's taking this whole thing on the road away from the state capitol?
Yeah, right. I mean, the governor's office will be inviting other lawmakers on this trip, especially when he goes into districts likely represented by Democrats. And he wants to have those representatives alongside him as he makes these policy announcements. But this does come at a time where we've heard some complaints from state lawmakers who say the governor has not fully communicated with them. He's not fully collaborated with them. Even some Republicans telling us that really his decision to not do this speech here at the state capitol represents a divide between the two branches of government. We posed this question to Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon, who really shot down any suggestion there might be tension between the two branches of government.
I think, if anything, this helps to build the relationship between individual members and the governor, particularly at a time when we have almost a quarter of the body is new. So I think it's great. No, it's not at all a sign of tension between us at all.
How would you respond to those who say, you know, this address is meant to engage the legislature? It's not happening in a traditional way. Is there a fraction, you know, between the two bodies, the executive branch and the legislative branch?
I would say that the only thing that's required for a State of the State from the governor by the Constitution is sort of like a letter. What we've done traditionally goes above and beyond, and this is even, I think, a greater effort on behalf of the governor to go out and to see people's districts and see all the work that we're doing.
I think it's a missed opportunity. I think it's an opportunity that's very valuable, and it's traditional. And so we would have loved to have the opportunity to hear the explanation of why certain problems have not become the focus of his attention. I mean, we have inflationary issues, we have homelessness that's a growing problem.
Now, exact dates and times, locations for this tour are still being determined, are still to be announced, but we'll update you as soon as we can with those details. Again, this tour is running from March 16th through the 19th. That's next week. Reporting live here at the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.